Hello you guys, and welcome back to the Crime with Kylie podcast. Today we are going to be talking about a very recent case. And before we get too far into it, I would like to place a warning here because we will be talking about the murder and possible sexual assault of a child. Without any further interruptions, this is the case of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray. She was the first child and daughter born to her mother, Alexis Nungaray, and she was an only child up until she was 7 years old, and then she was given a little brother. And from how their mom Alexis has talked, it seems that her younger brother really looked up to Jocelyn. The family of three lived together in an apartment in Houston, Texas. Jocelyn's grandmother described her as quiet, independent, smart, and sweet. She said that Jocelyn always dreamed of becoming an actress. She also added that she loved music and loved spending time with her brother. Jocelyn's uncle Jomel had this to say about her. Jossie was a smart, loving, nurturing young lady. She brightened up the room every time she came by and was loved by everyone around. She had no reason to die the way she did. She was always smiling and enjoyed time with us, her family, and she was her little brother Elias's role model. My sister, nephew, and family deserve justice. We will not sleep until justice is served and these predators are in the Harris County Jail. Now, with that being said, I think it's an appropriate time to get into what happened to Jocelyn. It was Father's Day, Sunday, June 16th of 2024. Jocelyn was at home with her mom Alexis and her little brother Elias. Their mom Alexis got them both into bed around 10 o'clock p.m. and then she herself also went to bed. The next day, on Monday, June 17th of 2024, Alexis had plans to go to work and to bring Jocelyn with her. They were going to spend the entire day together. But at some point between 10 p.m. and 12 o'clock a.m., Jocelyn ended up sneaking out of her apartment. Her mother was not aware of this and always told her daughter not to leave the house unattended. Currently, we do not know why Jocelyn snuck out, but we do know that she was on the phone with her boyfriend for a significant amount of time. Her boyfriend was 13 years old and in the same grade as her. And from her boyfriend, we know that the last place where they were on the phone together was at a 7-Eleven convenience store that was very close to her apartment. And according to her boyfriend, he overheard her talking to two men. These two men were captured on surveillance video walking to the 7-Eleven convenience store with Jocelyn, and they were also seen leaving with her and walking towards a creek. And the timestamp on these photos was 12:17 a.m. So at that point, it would have been Monday, June 17th of 2024. And we also know from a 7-Eleven cashier that Jocelyn was also seen at 11:30 p.m. They had gotten off of work at that time, and as they were leaving the store, they saw Jocelyn hiding behind a storage unit. And what's also significant is that according to Jocelyn's grandmother, the family of three were trying to start anew. They had just recently moved to that area and had not lived there that long. Now flash forward to around 3 hours later, around 3 o'clock in the morning. Alexis did end up waking up because Jocelyn's cat was going crazy, and she did find this odd because the cat was usually sleeping with Jocelyn. Then let's flash forward another 3 hours. It is 6:15 a.m. on June 17th of 2024. A woman named Billie Jackson was just trying to drive to work when she noticed what she thought was a mannequin in a creek. This creek was at 400 West Rankin Road in Houston, Texas. And initially, Billie Jean Jackson was just going to continue driving, but she could not stop thinking about what she thought was a mannequin in the water. So she made a U-turn and she went to go investigate. But as she got closer, she realized that it was the body of a young girl in the creek. Only later would she find out that it was Jocelyn Nungaray, who was only 12 years old. And Jocelyn, being only 12 years old, frightened her because she herself was a grandmother to a 12-year-old girl. Around that same time of 6:15 in the morning, that is when Alexis Nungaray woke up. She went and got her 5-year-old son awake, and then she went to go find Jocelyn. But when Jocelyn was not in her room, she instantly tracked Jocelyn's phone. She followed the tracking on Jocelyn's phone and ended up at that creek. It was there that she was informed that a body was found. Quickly, the surveillance footage from the 7-Eleven was broadcasted everywhere. Houston authorities initially said that the two men in the surveillance footage were persons of interest. But by Thursday, June 20th of 2024, both of those men went from being persons of interest to being suspects to being charged with Jocelyn's murder. At 4 o'clock in the morning, neighbors were awoken at 13355 Northborough Drive. The neighbors were awoken by the sound of officers outside with loudspeakers shouting for two men to come out. Those two men were identified as 21-year-old Johan Jose Rangel Martinez and 26-year-old Franklin Jose Pino Ramos. Both of them were from Venezuela and had illegally entered the country. On March 14th, Johan Martinez was taken into U.S. Border Patrol custody near El Paso, Texas. That same day, he was released on an order of recognizance with a notice to appear. Franklin Ramos was also taken into custody by U.S. Border Patrol on May 28th near El Paso. He was also released on an order of recognizance with a notice to appear. They were both confirmed to be the very same men. They were both They were both confirmed to be the very same men seen with Jocelyn in the surveillance footage. We now know how Franklin Jose Pena Ramos as well as Jose Martinez lured her out to the bridge. They had asked Jocelyn for help with directions. She was being kind-hearted and agreed to help them. That is how they got her to walk with them here. And we do not yet know all of the details, but we do know that the two men stayed with her under this bridge for 2 hours. It is also now confirmed that they had taken off her pants and they had tied her up before throwing her in the bayou. Franklin was seen in court this morning, Monday, June 24th of 2024, and as of just a few minutes ago, we now know that his bond was set at $10 million. And it's also known that 2 days after Jocelyn's body was found, he cut his ankle monitor. And I'm not exactly sure if this has been confirmed yet, but allegedly Jocelyn was raped by either one or both of them. Some sources say that yes, she was in fact raped, whereas others say that the results from her sexual assault exam are still pending. Additionally, when the police went to arrest the two men, one of them did attempt to jump off of the balcony, but he failed. They also discovered evidence of Jocelyn's murder within their shared apartment. As for what exactly that evidence is, that has not been disclosed publicly. And at this current moment, both of them have been charged with capital murder. Now, Jocelyn's case is being wildly broadcasted right now, and a big part of that is because of the status of the two men. They came here illegally, and people are trying to make a political statement regarding her murder. I am personally not here to do that. I am here to spread awareness about a little girl whose life was taken far too soon. And I personally want to see that she gets justice. My heart goes out to Jocelyn's family, especially to her mom, Alexis. I could not imagine losing my daughter. I could not begin to imagine the amount of pain, grief, and heartbreak she is going through right now. And other people in the media have been ruthless. She did an interview, and I will insert a clip of it after this, but in the comments section, people are trying to blame her, as if it was her parenting that led to her daughter sneaking out, as if it was her fault that she had a boyfriend. Not that her boyfriend, as far as we know, had anything to do with this.
I just want people to remember, I know this is a very high profile case, but she was still my firstborn. I was a teen mom. I fought for her at 15. So 27 now, I'm still fighting for her. And just remember that she was a very special little girl that deserves her justice. And I know she's gonna make a difference in this world.
But whether you agree with it or disagree with it, you do not have all the context. I do not have all the context, but I do know from both being a parent and also being a student and not too far off from being in school that 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds have relationships. Some of them choose to tell their parents, some of them choose to not. Some of the kids with the strictest parents will be the ones sneaking out, and some of the kids with the most lax parents will stay in. You truly never know, and you do not have control over your child at all points in time. So I really do not think it's appropriate to blame the mother and to victim blame and to blame Jocelyn. This was a horrific tragedy. A little girl should still be here today. And the ones we should be blaming are the predators who took her away. Now, a close family friend to Jocelyn's family have set up a GoFundMe, and I will have that link below. I'll also have it right here so you guys can see it. This will go to Jocelyn's funeral expenses and also just getting her family through this horrific and hard time.